What's up guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we're venturing into the dungeons to continue our series of monocolored budget decks. Today we'll be tackling the color black as we explore the lost mine of Phandelver with one of my favorite commanders, Acererak the Archlich. Alright, so Acererak is a 5/5 legendary zombie wizard. It costs 2 and a black to cast, and it reads, when Acererak the Archlich enters the battlefield, if you haven't completed Tomb of Annihilation, return Acererak the Archlich to its owner's hand and venture into the dungeon. And whenever Acererak the Archlich attacks, for each opponent, you create a 2/2 black zombie creature token, unless that player sacrifices a creature. Now, its second ability is not going to be super relevant, because we don't intend on ever actually completing the Tomb of Annihilation. The goal is to cast Acererak repeatedly, to venture through the dungeon of the Mad Mage, or the Lost Mine of Phandelver, to dig through our deck and assemble our combo. Once we've assembled our pieces, we're just going to run laps of the Lost Mine, triggering the Dark Pool's room ability to drain out our opponents. Alright, so since our plan is to venture through the dungeons, let's go through what the dungeons do quickly. Now, these are the two main dungeons we're going to have access to, and this is the dungeon that we will be using to win the game. So the Lost Mine of Phandelver, the first room, you scry 1. The next room, you have a choice. You can either make a treasure or create a 1/1 goblin creature token. 9 times out of 10, you're making a treasure. And then you're going to enter the Dark Pool as the third room. Each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. And this is the win con, triggering that repeatedly. And then in the last room, you're going to draw a card. When you're digging to find combo pieces, you can run through the dungeon of the Mad Mage. In the first room, you gain a life. Second room, you scry 1. Then you create a treasure token. Then you scry 2. Then you're going to exile the top 2 cards of your library where you can play them. And then you scry 3. And then in the last room, you're going to draw 3 cards and reveal them. And you can cast one of those 3 without paying its mana cost. This one is super useful for digging through a lot of cards when you're trying to find the answer. Although, it's not going to win you the game. So, once you find the answer, you do still have to finish this dungeon before you can start running back through the Lost Mine of Phandelver. Which is fine, because ideally, once we assemble our combo, we can run through it infinitely. Now, that combo, the easiest iteration of it, requires Relic of Legends and Heartless Summoning. Now, Heartless Summoning says creature spells you cast cost 2 less, and creature you control get -1/-1. This alone reduces the cost of our commander Acererak down to just a single black mana. And Relic of Legends can provide that 1 black mana, but it also has an ability that says tap and untap legendary creature you control to add 1 mana of any color. So with these 2 cards on the board, we can cast Acererak. Its ability will trigger with it on the stack. We can tap it to Relic of Legends ability to add a black. We're going to venture. It's going to go back to our hand. And now we have a black floating. We can cast it again. Rinse and repeat. Venture through the dungeons infinitely. This iteration of combo is the cleanest and ideally what you want to hit more often than not. It's not always going to be the case, and this deck has a lot of ways that overlap. We have a lot of these cost reduction effects. And you'll notice this one also has whenever you cast a creature spell, each one loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. So this can be the win con even without venturing through the dungeon if ETBs are turned off, which is quite useful. We have Carnival of Souls, which acts sort of like Relic of Legends. You lose a life and get a black whenever a creature comes into play. Have to be careful with this card because it is any creature, yours, your opponent's, token or non-token. So you can end up in quite a predicament if your opponents start making a lot of tokens or you're against like an Elves deck. You don't want to play this card down too early because you will get punished. And to offset the life loss, there are a bunch of stuff like Ayara. When the black creature enters, you gain a life. Bontu's Monument also offsets it. There's a bunch of other cards, but we'll go through the list now. Alright, so here's the list. Came out to $121 US at the time of recording. Remember, prices are taken from Card Kingdom. I'm really not doing well at keeping to that $100 US, but it's just a little bit over. It's not too bad. The main portions of this deck, you will notice they're very artifact heavy. There's a lot of ramp in this deck. The more mana we have, the more times we can cast Acererak per turn when we don't have our combo to dig for the combo. If we go ahead and enable tags, I've got it all sorted again to make more understanding the deck more simple. So ideally, you have cost reduction, and then you have the refund black section there. If you have those two things together, you can cast Acererak an unlimited amount of times. Well, sort of unlimited. If you're doing it with Carnival of Souls, you're going to be losing life, which is where these life gain pieces come into play as well. So if you're using the combo with Cavern of Souls, you will need one of these pieces as well. But that's fine. So starting with the cost reduction, we have Heartless Summoning, which we already spoke about. Bonchu's Monument, we also spoke about. Now, Honor Worn Shaku is very similar to Relic of Legends, but it doesn't provide a black. It only provides the colorless. So if when doing the combo without Relic of Legends, this can basically be used to reduce the cost of Acererak by 1. Because if we're paying 2 to cast it, and then getting 1 back off Carnival of Souls, we'll also get 1 colorless back off this. So it's effectively a cost reduction piece. Defiler of Flesh is a fantastic card in the deck, as you can actually reduce the cost of Acererak down to 0. But it will cost you an extra 2 life. Whereas if you have enough of these pieces, it just offsets that life loss, and you're cheering. Jorah's Familiar, we have a lot of artifacts that reduce the cost of, and also a lot of, just a commander it reduced the price of, which is fantastic. Undead War Chief, we do have a lot of zombies, and this reduced the cost of all the zombies. And our commander is also a zombie, so, it's great. Come down here, we've got the refund cards. Now, Paradise Mantle, if it's equipped to Mero Bonora or Traxos, Scourge of Krug, whenever we cast our commander, so whenever you play a black spell, you may untap. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may untap. So our commander fulfills both of those. So if we have either of those on the field equipped with a Paradise Mantle, and they're not summoning 6, so they can tap for a black mana, whenever we cast our commander, they'll untap. And then we can use that mana to recast it. And then we've got the life gain pieces. So all these ones where you choose color, you're going to choose black. But whenever you cast a spell with choose color, gain a life. Whenever a player casts a black spell, gain a life. Whenever you cast a spell with choose color, gain a life. Whenever another black creature enters the battlefield, drain 1. Whenever you cast a creature spell, opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Stuff of Death Magus, whenever a black spell or a swamp enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life. Eighth Flux Reservoir, well, we all know what that does, you gain lots of life. And then Paradise Plume, it's not great for a 4 mana rock, but it also has the added ability of we gain a life whenever we cast this spell of the chosen color. That is basically all the combos. There is also Onyx Talisman, so it says this is the old wording. It's worded as if it's an activated ability. It's actually a triggered ability. It says whenever you cast a black spell, you may pay 3 if you do untap target permanent, right? So that's why you can only do it once for each cast, as it says. But if you have Empowered Auto Generator with enough counters, or Nyx Lotus with enough devotion, usually you need either 6 counters or 6 devotion to go infinite, but that's also can be reduced by cost reduction pieces, refund pieces, all that. And Empowered Auto Generator is only going to get more every time you use it. So eventually you're going to be generating infinite mana, and you can just cast your commander repeatedly. It's the outlet. You just keep casting it, you win the game. Cabal Paladin is just taxes every time you cast one of these artifacts or your commander. Scourge Familiar is a way to get some extra mana. You can discard cards. If you're in a loop that doesn't net any mana, or it's like using mana slowly, this can discard the cards you're drawing to net back one of those mana, as well as using combination with Dungeon Crawler. Whenever you complete the dungeon, it'll go back to your hand, and then you can discard it as well to help go for longer until you find a combo that's actually infinite. Thrall Parasite has some Extort, which is fantastic in case you're in a loop but not gaining life. You'll net mana every 4 dungeon entrances. You're going to net mana because you'll make that treasure token, and then you can use that treasure token to extort to gain back 3 life to keep going. Viscerous here, Sack Outlet. We also have Dominion House Guard, another Sack Outlet, but also it's a tutor. We've got a decent tutor pool here. They are obviously the cheaper ones. You have any better ones, play them if you got them. Decent removal package too. $1.29, the most expensive here. Black, obviously, well known for its removal. And then we've got our, end the game spells. If we're not ending the game by casting a commander and we go to fizzle out, we're not going to get there, we're going to run out of life or something, Tendrils of Agony will gain us a whole bunch of that life back. So will Aetherflux Reservoir. But not only that, they will often also just kill the pod. We've got the usual typical ramp. Bog Initiate is there to filter. A lot of the time, you'll end up with excess colorless mana. This just lets you filter it into black. Crypt Breaker, again, we have a bit of a zombie tribal theme that draws cards. Gravecrawler, there's combos using Gravecrawler, Ayara, Carnival of Souls, and a sack outlet. That can kill the pod. Yeah, I mean, that's the deck. I've got a lot of feedback on the last one that the video went a bit too long, so I'm going to try to keep this one short. But if you do have any questions, drop them down in the comments below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you enjoyed. If you like what I do, please subscribe, and if you haven't yet, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. If you want to support me and what I do and earn some cool benefits, I have my Patreon link down below in the description, as well as the link to this deck list. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next one, where we're going to take on the color green.